Okay, in today's demonstration, I am going to do a continuous contour line drawing of these objects I've put down here. And what continuous means is as soon as my paper touches, as soon as my pen, touches my paper, I'll just call it a game. The rule of the game is I'm not allowed to lift my pen up. So this gets into commitment of line, all right? And I'm purposely doing it in Sharpie. So if I make what I think is a mistake, I'm gonna have to live with that, okay? So it's a little uncomfortable, and the goal is, as I'm drawing on my paper, I'm pretending that this is called contour drawing. Some of you have done it, some of you probably haven't. I'm literally pretending that my pen is traveling along the outer edge of the object, and then I'll go in and get some of these laces. And then you'll see as I want to go to another area, I can't pick up my pen. So there's going to become other lines on there that I wouldn't necessarily have. Again, commitment to line, and then also this works on eye-hand coordination. Okay, so I'm going to get started, and instead of looking at my objects from my position, I'm going to be looking at what's on the screen, my perspective of what's on the screen, and drawing it. So I'm going to start with the shoe at the top, and I'm going to start probably somewhere over in here. And another thing that helps when you're going to draw still lifes is I can kind of map out with my finger, like, okay, shoe's going to go here, sea star here, flower over here. So I'm just getting a sense of where things are going to be on the page without actually drawing. And it may happen that I don't account for enough space and things go off the edge. That's okay. All right, so here I go. Now, starting at the top of that shoe, and it's almost like I'm an inchworm tracing along the edge of the shoe. And if you're going super fast, like if I've seen some people, they finish in 5 minutes, I go, you're rushing it. So you really, really following along the edge of that shoe. And it's probably going to come out looking disproportionate. And then I'm right at where the lace is now, somewhere in there. So I have to make a decision. Do I drop down and draw the lace, or do I get the outer edge of the shoe first? I'm going to get the outer edge of the shoe. But then I'm going to have to come back and get the lace.
In doing the line drawing, are you ever taking your eyes off of the object and onto the paper, or is it continuously looking at the object?
You have a choice. So right now I'm primarily not even looking at my paper. That's called a blind contour drawing. Now it's weird. I've never done this on Zoom before. What's weird is I can sort of see, because I can see on the screen, I can kind of see what I'm doing. It's actually a little disorienting because it feels like I'm doing the drawing incorrectly because the perspective is different. Okay, so now I'm right where the sea star kind of meets the shoe. Okay. I'm going to pick up the pace a little bit, otherwise I could be here, a really long time. So even though these objects look kind of simple, it's complex. Okay, now I'm where the lace is. I'm going to just start doing the lace. So you can also do these drawings and you can be looking down which is what you would do if you were drawing. Like if you spend all your time just drawing and looking at the paper, you're probably making something up that isn't accurate. but it's really hard to only be looking at the object, but it trains the eye to really, really, you're learning how to see. So I'm not going to say you have to go completely blind contour drawing. Some teachers, there will be that lesson, and you could be at it for an hour. The easiest thing to do is your hand. You don't need to set up a still life, you just use your hand. Okay, now I'm going a little faster. Now that I sort of have the outline of the shoe in there, I'm going to pick up the pace a little, just because I want to get to the C-star. And at a certain point, I'll cross over, like right here. So because your commitment is to tracing things as best you can, you kind of have to let go of, oh my gosh, it doesn't look like it's not perfect, right? You're practicing learning how to see. Okay, I'm getting a little lost in here with these laces. Now, the temptation, because we're trained, oh, we want it to look perfect. The temptation, and I saw people doing this, is I'm just going to go, like right now, I'm just going to backtrack over that line so I don't have to cross over. That's not what we're doing here, okay? Because we sort of want to break the habit of this has to look perfect. If you practice this daily over time, you would get really good at this. Okay, so now I'm over in this area. I want to go over to this flower stem. So here's what I mean. I don't get to pick up my pen. I move over, I'm going to drop down. Here's my stem. Now I'm going to go flower. And like I said, I put it on black paper so you could see the contour better. Okay, so I'm just going to do the outline of the flower. And that live transcript box is a little bit in my way, but I'm just going to blow past it there. Okay, go back up, complete the rest of the stem. See, not perfect. Complete the rest of the shoe there. Oops. Then I want to go over to the lace. So I cut across. Going faster now. Okay. Here's this lace here. Okay, now I'm going to cut across to get to the C-star.
Do you have your eyes closed or you're looking?
Oh, no, I'm looking.
Okay.
There's no way I could do this with my eyes closed. I'm not that good. See, so that came out really wonky, but that's okay. And then cutting across, what happens is you start getting these other interesting, and I'll say abstracted shapes. So see, I just cut right down here. I got to get to the flower, to the middle. So you've got to tell yourself, this is a little, I'm playing a game here. The game is cannot lift up pen. Now, what if the phone rings? Because mine, I just got beeped. I'm probably supposed to go get my son. So if you needed to answer the phone, you can do that, but you have to remember, okay, that's the last place I was. And the rule of the game is you got to come back to that spot and pick up where you left off. Okay, you could do ink and brush and do this if you prefer. Again, if you have to dip your brush in the ink again, I'm going to cut over to the C star here. You just have to pick up where you left off, if that makes sense. I'm just going through these details kind of quickly here. So I could go on and on. Let's see. Is there anything else I can get that I missed? You know what? I'm going to put in the next to the stem. Stem goes off the page. And then there's a little, I'm just going to put this edge of the black paper as a framing device. And I'm going to end right there, and I'm going to turn this around so you can see. Okay, so that's what I wound up with, which we know it's a shoe and a flower, not so clear as to what that is, but you get this array of really interesting shapes while you're working on commitments align and observation, eye-hand coordination. And this is something is really fun. You can do it anywhere you go in a small sketchbook. I did it a lot as a kid. That's, when there were no cell phones, this was the entertainment. So you're going to wind up with this structure. And then my idea is you can come in and paint this any way that you want. You might pick a color palette, like a limited color palette, and then paint that in. So that's it.